Hello guys, NautoAis here. And I want to give my thoughts on this particular news about how third-party games are not selling well on the Switch. They're lower than expectation. And it seemed that some third-party companies are concerned, and even one said that it's really bad. And I want to give my thoughts about that because it is sort of interesting. It sounds familiar. I hate to go here. But of course, granted, this also happened with the Switch, but they managed to turn it around. When it came to the Wii U, well, I mean, it's the Wii U. So right now, yeah, it may be slow, but come on. The Switch has only been for 2 weeks. Give it time. I know the problem is they're probably thinking about the Switch effect. So for people who don't know, the Switch effect is that when it comes to third-party game on the Switch, it sold better than its previous console version. That's why. Case in point, a lot of people kind of give an example is this Gaia 5. The Switch version sold faster and better than the PS4 version. But of course, like it's in the long run, it was diminishing due to poor performance. That's why. So how come it wasn't doing in the Switch 2? It's so confusing. I don't know. That's going to be interesting. But I'm going to give my theory. But it's going to be a response to our GT85, piggybacking on what he said. Because I kind of agree with what he said, believe it or not. So props to him. Of course, the elephant in the room that people are going to be complaining, oh, why the Switch third-party game are not selling on Switch 2. Game key card. They always complain about the game key card. It sucks. I'm not going to buy it. I agree with RGT85, whether you like it or not. The people who whine about it, whether you like it or not, it's a minority to some extent. Maybe not. Keep talking about it. Let your voice be heard. But as of right now, it is a minority because I'm not going to lie. The general consumer, the casual, they don't give a shit whether the game is a code in a box, game key card, full game, digital only, physical only. To some extent, they don't give a shit. I'm into the video game. I'm a casual. I considered myself. But to some extent for me myself, believe it or not, just like Sakurai, I don't give a shit if the game is digital or physical. My rule of thumb is, if the game is cheap, I'll buy it. If Yakuza Director's Cut is like on clearance $20 is game key card, I'm going to probably buy it. Street Fighter 6, the Fighters Edition, if it's on clearance, I'll buy it. I don't give a shit if it's a game key card. But yeah, they may be the loudest, but to some extent, RGT85 even said that, well, some people, they just buy the game, just want to buy the game. Yes, it's always been the loudest or the smallest. They're the one that's getting in your face. It is what it is there. So is it a game key card? It is a factor. But again, wait and see in the long run. Again, it is just 2 weeks. But they're assuming that there might be a Switch effect. And it didn't. And for people who don't know, why are they doing game key card? Well, the story behind it was a leak from Guilty Gear Strive. There were only 3 SKU for the Nintendo Switch 2 game card. You either put in a 64, which is very expensive for them. You do in a game key card, which is, 8 gigs or whatever. And most of the data is going to be online. Or code in the box or digital. That's really it. And why did Nintendo do that? They were hoping to make the 64-bit go lower in price in the long run rather than give them an option. I know it's weird, but it is what it is. It's Nintendo's business. You want to complain? Go complain on Nintendo. Just saying there. Game keycard may be a possibility, but it's not a major thing. The only reason people keep hearing game keycard is if you follow social media, if you listen to your favorite YouTuber, kind of like what RGT85 said, you're going to be hearing that. Oh, game keycard sucks. This sucks. Digital sucks. Full physical in the game. Nintendo suck. Digital suck. And it's what it is. It's like what I call it. Getting in the person's face. They want their opinion to be in your face, so hopefully you'll understand that, oh, game key card is bad. So here's the question. If you really want and demand the game company to do a full game card rather than a key card, and then all of a sudden they're saying, well, if we're going to do a full game, we're going to have to raise the price by $10 or so, like the Atlas tax or, remember the Switch tax. Would you be willing to pay a lot of money? I mean, for a hardcore, probably, yeah, they will willingly. But for a casual who wants to buy them on a sale, probably not. I'm just saying there. So, yeah, you can force them to do it. That's fine. They'll raise the price. Okay, that's cool. you're willing to pay that much. And for some say, oh, you know what? $80 for that game. You know, I'm just going to wait for a clearance. And then push come to shove in the long run. They did a full game, didn't sell. They're not getting the returns. It went to the clearance. They're not making their money. What's going to happen? They're probably just not going to do a game on Switch 2 anymore because the consumers are giving them a hard time. If Nintendo forced them to use a 64 gig game card and they don't like that, push come to shove, yeah, they either bite the bullet, they'll say, fine, well, take that L, that'll be nice, but no business ever do that. They're going to offset the price to the consumer, and a lot of the consumer, they get pissed, or push come to shove, they just won't do it. They're not going to port the game on the Switch 2 because it's just too expensive. Again, I have to always go back to this story with SNK Playmore in 2005 during the PS2 era, because this is what Playmore did. When Sony basically suggested, I know to some extent, forced them to lower the price because it's a 2D game, they said, hell no, we're going to put it in the Xbox, and the SNK fan will buy an Xbox to play our game. Which, no, they didn't. That's the reason push come to shove, I think in 2012, 2014, they sold their company to a Chinese conglomerate because they weren't making any money. They were doing port, they were making money, hooray, but push come to shove, they're not getting a lot of return. That's why the Chinese conglomerate stepped up. So you're trying to force a company to do something that they don't want to do, and you're making them throw more money and they're not getting any returns. Push come to shove, they're probably not going to do it. They're not going to put your game on the Switch 2. They'll just say, screw it. Again, Nintendo was dumb to just do either a game key card, whatever, how much size it is, or a 64, and like that's your only option. I don't know. But bottom line is, what's the word that a lot of people always say? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, if you want a full game in a game and you're willing to pay a lot of money, cool, by all means. But just mindfulness is, the general consumer, they probably won't. They're going to say, why am I going to pay this game like it's $90, $80, probably the minimum with the full game? Why should I pay for that much? Again, money's already hard to get, push come to shove in 2025 to some extent. And unless you're just a hardcore gamer that you're getting returns by playing games on stream, don't know. So it's up to you. You can convince game company to do it, but there's always going to be an effect to what you're doing for your cause. Just saying there. My thoughts about that one is, make your own decision. For me, I prioritize sale over some game key card or full game. I don't have that high principle when it comes to the game key card. Censorship is a different story. Anyway, so that's a possibility. Another possibility that people said, I was listening again, RGT85, JBK also said the same thing as, well, why would anyone buy this game they already played on another console? That is true. This is something from the Wii U and the Switch. To some extent, again, unless you're willing to double tip because of the portability, the majority of gaming consumer might probably have multiple console. I have an Xbox Series X, PS5, Steam, my computer works, haha, and a Switch. Where do I play my third-party game? If you look at my channel, PlayStation, my primary console. When I see the Switch, when I see Nintendo, in my mind, in my definition, my version of Nintendo is a complementary console that plays rich Nintendo games. Adam basically even said it. A lot of YouTubers basically said it even. Like it or not, the reason to get a Nintendo console is to play those Nintendo games, and that's it. Unless you only have a Switch, and that's all your console, or heck, unless you only have a Switch 2 as your only console, then buying those third-party games makes sense. But when it comes to somebody who's been in video game for a long time, somebody who has multiple console, the majority is, again, Nintendo console are not primary console. A lot of people can say, I am. Well, yeah, maybe you, but the majority are not. That's just the facts. I mean, don't take it personal. So, again, for me, okay, Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2. Let's say I have a Switch 2. Why would I buy it again? Portability? Maybe. Amiibo feature? Maybe. But I put a lot of time already on the PS5 version of Street Fighter 6. Hint, go check out my extended channel. I have a lot of Street Fighter 6 gameplay. Just saying there. Why would I play Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 on the Switch 2 if I can play it on the PS5? Again, portability? Sure. But better graphics, better performance on the PS5. Also, price. Third-party game Switch 2 game release on Switch 2, they're full price versus another console. Again, the only advantage with the third-party games are, unless you have a Switch console and that's it, or a Switch 2 and that's your only console, then yeah. So that is a possibility also that the majority of consumers who have multiple console, they're probably not buying it. They're not double dipping to some extent. Especially most of them are like $60. Another theory people said is some of those games are $70. True. PS5, Xbox Series XS as well. And remember, in a different video, I just said most of those games were freaking worth $70 at launch. Within months, the price dropped. Just saying. Again, if you're patient enough, you can buy it on clearance, on sale. So, again, who knows? So another theory also people are saying really is, and this one is very minor, but there are some, including myself, is no system-wide achievement. When you play a Switch 2 game, there is no trophy. There is no achievement. Remember, I already gave my thoughts about that. Bill Trenton said, nope, there isn't. They have their in-game achievement. I mean, the Zelda note. Yippee. Mark Our World apparently has an in-game achievement. Again, hallelujah, great. But they don't have that universal system-wide achievement. I mean, my Nintendo's probably a potential, but no. They're even stopping that on the mobile. Again, ridiculous. Maybe they don't have knowledge, lack of knowledge, lazy, I don't know. I already gave my thoughts about it, but that's another factor to some extent. Yeah, that's going to be a very, very minor one. Not a lot of people give a shit about it, but there are some that basically said, yes, I'm not going to buy a Nintendo Switch / Nintendo Switch 2 third-party game because there's no trophy. I don't get my trophies, my achievement. I want my E-points. It is what it is. And you think, oh, trophies and achievements sucks. Okay, well, I said in a different video, you get more of your value when you get those. People like those. Why not give people option? You keep giving people option, then maybe. But yeah, so there's some of the factors. So there is no concrete. I agree with RGT85. There is no concrete of why third-party games on the Switch 2 is not selling. But again, it's just within 2 weeks, so be patient about that. Gotta wait. Will the Switch effect be good? Will it work again for the Switch 2? So right now, it doesn't look like it, but give it times. And another one, and this is the big one, and this is why company dislike backwards compatibility. I bought the Switch 2 so I can play my Switch 1 games. Granted, boost mode, performance enhanced, upgrade, fixes from the Switch. Yes, the Xbox Series X did it, PlayStation 5 did it, so the Switch 2 did it. That's a good thing. That is a blessing. But to some extent, when you look at it in a perspective of business, they probably don't like it because why are you playing old game on a new console? Should you be playing new game? Well, first of all, besides third-party game, you got Mario Kart, which is if you buy the bundle, so a lot of people are playing that because they have no choice. And another first-party game is the glorified crap tech demo for $10. I don't think a lot of people are buying that because it should be packing on the Switch too, but no. Because Miyamoto and Nintendo Japan believe is every game you work on, you should get paid for. So, yeah. Okay, grandpas. And then let's see. Oh, Switch 2 edition. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild. Okay, that's cool. I mean, a lot of people like it. Again, not the majority. Like, if I have a Switch 2, I'm probably going to buy the Switch 2 edition because why not? I want to play Zelda in a better performance, and I'll do this Doohickey collection shit, but that's just me. To some extent, why would anyone want to play this game again if there's nothing new to it? It's just, let's find this viewpoint, story point, and let's listen to an AI of Zelda, the King of Hyrule, or whatever, because apparently that's the belief, it's AI, but that's a different story there. And build up your achievement, in-game achievement. Oh, Amiibo collection. Cool. To some extent. So it just became a collectathon. Just saying there. Kirby at least have new content, but it's not going to come until August. Jamboree TV, I thought it was out, but I guess it wasn't yet. I don't know. So the fact is that when it comes to the Nintendo game itself, they're lacking. Yeah, there's more launch game, but again, most of those third-party games already are out in other console. Unless you're only a Switch owner, nobody's going to buy it. Just saying there. So that's another tier. So again, there is no concrete, in my opinion, right now of why, but it does sort of kind of have a feeling of a Wii pseudo situation. But to some extent, give it more time. Wait until past 4th of July. Maybe then there's going to be more sale. It's probably going to be moved more. And once a lot of people are now getting the Switch, because remember, they already capped their Switch. So that's also another story that the reason they managed to sell 3.4 million is they made a lot of Switch. Kudos. Is there a high demand for Switch too? Doesn't look like it, because believe it or not, there have been times for me personally when I follow Cheap Ass Gamer and Wario 64. There have been times when they say, oh, you can get a Switch too. Target, that has a big window. I had a chance. Didn't want it. Best Buy, same deal. I was considering, but you know what? Nah, there's not a lot of games. Like, if I'm going to buy Switch 2, it's going to be just to play my Switch 1 game in a better performance. Especially Scarlet and Violet. Heck, even Costco had it. The window was so big. Like, yeah, it'd be more than $500, but you get, like, the expansion pack for another year. I had a chance. Didn't take it. Why? Because even though I want one, I don't really want one that badly. I got a lot of games. Shit. I got a lot of backlog games from Steam, PlayStation, and Microsoft Xbox. I even have backlog on the Switch 1 game. I'm not playing them because I probably want to play them in the Switch 2 for better performance. So I'm patient. Maybe I'll get one on fall. Maybe Christmas. Who knows? Right now, I agree with Smash JT when I saw one of his videos. You don't really have to want one as soon as possible. But yes, they're not going to lower the price. But as of right now also, apparently there's some missing factors on the Switch 2. But that's a different story. I mean, I'll buy Switch 2 if they have a system-wide achievement. That's just me personally. But again, who knows? So there you go, my theory, my guesses of why. Yes, it is, like I said, piggybacking on our GT85. Because I agree with what he said. Yeah, it could be the game card. That's probably one of the majority why. Because people don't want to buy a game key card. Because, you know, it's the game key card. People don't like it. They shit on it. But other factors is, games already been out in other console. Unless you're a Switch owner. What's the point? Games too expensive. They're full price versus the other console. Doesn't make sense. And most people use the Switch 2 as an enhanced Switch version. Yeah, you probably could call it the Switch Pro. Oh, don't say that. People, don't say Switch 2 is a Switch Pro because the Nintendo fans, they don't like that. I mean, that's what I heard. They don't like that. That's like blasphemy. Again, not touching that. And for some, minority maybe. No system-wide achievement. Or they. You had 8 years, Nintendo, and you just didn't bother doing it. Just saying that. So, bottom line is, just have to wait. Let's see what happens in the long run. Wait until July, maybe even August, see what happens. Yes. Here's the thing also, whether you like it or not. When a new console comes out, it is sort of slow when it comes to game sales, especially for third-party game. Nintendo Switch did it. The Wii U definitely did it. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS kind of did it. People didn't know that. Third-party game there were kind of slow. People were buying it on the PS4. I mean, granted the situation, but it's the same situation. Just saying there. Again, just be patient about it. Let's see what happens in July. Maybe third-party game sales is going to pick up. But right now, too soon. Way too soon. I think most of the third-party game company, they want it now. They wanted the Switch effect, and it's not working. We'll just have to wait and see. So with that, I'll see you guys later.